welcome to this week's #Finance Friday. Today we're continuing our theme of creativity, and we're very excited to have Stuart with us here today. And he's the CEO of Triggerfish, and he's going to chat to us a bit more about creativity and some tips. So Stuart, thanks for being with us today. And can you tell us a bit about yourself and your business?
Great to be here, Taryn. I'm the CEO of Triggerfish Animation, which is an animation studio that operates globally now in post-pandemic because we have people all over the world. We create feature films and TV series for the world market. A lot of our stuff is on Netflix and Disney Plus, or coming on Disney Plus soon. And we basically look for creators from around the continent of Africa and support them in bringing their vision and their point of view into a story format that we can package and sell on to a big distributor.
Well, thanks, Stuart. And that's quite an interesting field to be in, I feel. Animation, I always found it quite interesting how it works and the runnings of it. So what motivated you to get into the animation field, to get into a company that's in the animation field?
Yeah, I studied fine art, and what was exciting, I could never quite decide whether I wanted to go into writing or sculpture or painting or photography, design. There's a lot of disciplines in the art world that I was interested in, and animation really encapsulates all of them. It's the only art form that includes almost everything, including architecture design and clothing design. It all kind of comes in when you're creating an animated project. So for me, it was just the ultimate challenge in what you can do with art, and then it combined with the fact that it's so expensive, it's a big challenge to raise money and to sell it. And so I think it's the most challenging thing I can think of in terms of being in the arts and being in the business world at the same time.
Wow, yeah, thanks, Stuart. I mean, as you said, it is a creative space where you almost combine all the creative fields, and you have to be on your toes the whole time in being creative. And are there any inspirations that you draw from to stay creative in your field?
Yeah, I think obviously in movie making, I watch a lot of movies, and then look at what's happening in contemporary fine art and in contemporary design. But mostly I work with very exciting creators, and the inspiration for me is the people. So finding a artist who has an authentic vision, who has integrity to that vision, and then just being in a position to be able to support them with writers and designers and animators is inspiring to me, because what inspires me the most is actually seeing the finished product, or even during production, seeing little pieces of the finished project come together, and you can start to see that vision come together. So I'm inspired by other people's creativity.
Wow, that's actually amazing. I think a lot of people forget that nowadays, that you can actually get inspired by others. You don't have to always be looking for some kind of inspiration, and even listening to like inspirational people speak, or so I really love that you draw inspiration from the people around you. And I personally love watching animations. I know I love all the animations out there. So yeah, that is really amazing to hear. And is there anything specific that your team does to keep the creativity flowing?
I think what we've seen over the years, and I've been doing this for 20 years, is when artists are together, they tend to inspire each other, and creative juices. There's a little competitive side to it, I think, but also just a sheer inspiration side of it. So what I always encourage people getting into the industry is find like-minded people. On weekends, go and draw and engage with the what you're trying to do, write stories together. It's easier to do things like that with people who are going to keep you to it. They need to be just as excited. So I think that's the environment we try and create, is like an environment with creators where they've got people to bounce their ideas off, because I don't believe art can happen in a vacuum. It does require to be contextualized with other people.
Yeah, that's actually a wonderful idea. And be creative with people and not just on your own. And the drawing, I love. I used to love to doodle and draw as well, and that is such a good way also to get your creativity flowing if you are a bit stuck. And do you have any tips specifically for people that are stuck or have a creative block?
Yeah, again, find someone else who you can bounce it off. I also recommend people introducing randomness to their thinking. So if they're writing something, I encourage people to just take a book off a shelf, look for 5 words, write them down, introduce creative challenges. Creativity thrives with boundaries. So in animation, we have a lot of boundaries because of the budget. And we see people find creative solutions. So, pick out words out of a dictionary, write them down, and then commit to including those words in your presentation. And somehow you'll find it just pulls you in a different direction, and creativity comes back. And then you get excited about something and you can throw it all out and start, fresh. But it's the randomness that makes you think outside of your own linear processes.
Yeah, I actually love that, implementing a bit of randomness into your daily life. I think I should start implementing that. It sounds like a great tip to use to try and get rid of that creative block. And do you have any advice for people who aren't perhaps in a creative field per se, in terms of the definition of creative field, but still require creativity in their work? For example, business people who may not see creativity as being important, but it is actually important in any field that you're in.
Yeah, I think all professional work is creative and requires creativity, except maybe accounting, where you don't want too much creativity. But certainly thinking outside the box and finding new, cheaper, better ways of doing things, and reinventing yourself constantly is, in today's fast-changing world, anybody who's not doing that is going to be left behind and become obsolete. So I would just encourage people to look at what they're doing, go back to first principles, which is, what are you trying to achieve, not what are you doing, and then think, if I was starting fresh today without any legacy, what would I do to achieve this same goal? And I think a great inspiration on that is Elon Musk's approach to SpaceX, where he looked at, what we want to achieve building rockets. They didn't want to be held to the legacy of using all the patents that had been designed before. So they just hired scientists and came up with new patents and new ideas at a fraction of the price. And they started to build the cheapest rockets and got the big contracts. So it's, start with the end in mind, focus on the end, on delivering that, and then try and forget about what's been done in the past to get there.
Yeah, and that's quite a valid point you're making. And if I think specifically to you saying that you'll be left behind if you don't stay creative, and that's actually something we've been speaking about in our Finance Fridays as well, is you need to think creatively to be able to come up with a creative solution or something different, something someone hasn't done before, and it can help you grow not only as an individual but as a company as well. And yeah, so I love that. That is so true. And so what we want to know is, are there any exciting animations coming out that viewers should keep their eyes on? Is there anything that we need to keep a watch for?
Yeah, I think look at SEAL Team, which is on Netflix at the moment. It was just released this month, and then we at the end of the year we'll be releasing also on Netflix Mama K's Team 4, which is our first TV series we've been working on for 7 years. And then next year we'll have another TV series for preschoolers called Kia. And early next year we'll have an anthology on Disney Plus, and Kia will also be on Disney Plus, on different short stories from around the continent of Africa, which is very exciting. And then there's a few other things coming, but those are that's the next year's worth of work that we're delivering.
Wow, it sounds amazing. And I've actually seen SEAL Team on Netflix. I'm still definitely going to watch it. So for everyone watching our video today, please go watch it and go watch the other videos when they get released as well. And very exciting projects. Wow. And are there any other final remarks that you have? Anything you want to say in closing regarding creativity?
No, I think just, introduced randomness is something that really has helped me a lot, and it just gets you outside of your thinking. So, I think whatever you do, having that approach, I think, is going to help come up with new ideas.
Thank you, Stuart. And I hope everyone watching implements that. And know that you can be creative and you don't have to be in necessarily a defined creative field to keep creativity within your life and within your job that you have. So, thank you, Stuart, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And we will see everyone next time at next week's #Finance Friday. Bye.
Bye.